Hello, my name's Anthony Jacquin and I am the hypnotist. That's the first thing you need to understand. This is the video to accompany my book, Reality is Plastic, the Art of Impromptu Hypnosis. I'm going to explain in some detail all of the exercises collectively known as the set piece, and I'm going to go over each induction, including all the subtleties and some other simple tips that make these things work. I appreciate the footage is pretty raw. I thought it would be more useful for you to see these things as they've been used on the street, on my training courses and with my therapy clients, as opposed to setting things up in some kind of clinical environment. If you have any questions about any of the techniques included on this video or in the book, then please feel free to contact me directly on enquiries@anthonyjacquin.com. I will always endeavour to answer your questions as swiftly as possible. So let's get on with the techniques. The first thing I'd like to talk about are the exercises known as a set piece. I use the term set piece because I find that the traditional terms that have been used to cover these exercises, things like tests of responsiveness and examples of waking hypnosis, to be a little unsatisfactory. To me, the set piece is incredibly important, deceptively simple, but hugely valuable to you as a hypnotist. When I come to hypnotise somebody in an impromptu situation, I will typically begin with a set piece. I will never present these exercises as a test. I will never call them a test, for the simple reason that I'm of the opinion that by calling them a test, you can set up a kind of challenge with your subject and encourage so-called resistance, when really what you want to do is encourage cooperation. Although many of the exercises are simple, and some of them have a physiological reason that makes it very, very likely that your subject will succeed in putting them off, they are still useful, as I will demonstrate. Typically, the first set piece exercise I will use is simply known as magnetic fingers or steepled fingers. What you're going to do is give your subject some very simple instructions, and within a few seconds of giving these instructions, they are going to find that their body responds to the ideas you're giving it. It proceeds at this kind of pace. Can you put your hands out in front of you? Can you clasp them together nice and tight, palms together, thumbs crossed? Bend your elbows like you're making a desperate prayer. Keeping your palms together, put your first fingers up about an inch apart. That's right, about an inch apart. Now look at the gap between those fingers, because in a moment those fingers are going to come together and touch all by themselves. Like you've got magnets in the tips of your fingers. They're getting closer and closer already. That's right, they're starting to twitch. And as those fingers come together, as soon as they touch, you can just allow your eyes to close and relax. Okay, we're going to start with a couple of simple exercises. They involve you using your concentration, your imagination. Okay, I'll give you some simple instructions. I want you to follow these instructions. I don't want you to pretend anything. If you follow these instructions, you'll have a bit of an experience, and it'll give you an insight into what hypnosis is. Okay? I want you to begin by placing both hands out in front of you like this, if you would. Sure. Clasp them tight together so your palms are together and your thumbs are crossed, nice and tight. Bend your elbows, and keeping your palms together, put your first fingers up about an inch apart. Now look at the gap between those fingers. In a moment they're going to come together and touch, just like you've got two magnets in the tips of those fingers. As soon as they touch, that's right, all by themselves, just allow your eyes to close. When your eyes close, you can just relax and let your arms drift down now. That's right, your own rate and speed. And you're going to drift down into a nice focused state, ready for the next set of instructions I'm going to give you. All the way down, that's right. Excellent. Now you can pull your hands apart, you can open your eyes. Brilliant. The moment their fingers touch and their eyes close, you have a choice about how to proceed. If at this point you don't plan to turn this into a hypnotic induction, then you could simply say, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just relax and let your arms drift down. Now open your eyes. Excellent. That shows me you can concentrate. So here already you get an opportunity to encourage your subject. You let them know clearly they're doing well. But this is almost a throwaway item. You don't have to linger, you don't have to talk about it in detail. You simply move on to the next exercise. Many hypnotists don't use magnetic fingers because there is a physiological reason why the fingers come together. But it's simply when you squeeze your hands together, it's very likely that these fingers are going to come together. You'll notice in the way I set it up, I never ask the person to squeeze their hands together once the exercise has actually begun. I place tension into the hands in the setup process, and I then do my utmost to genuinely make those fingers come together using my direction, using my suggestion. I've used this exercise with literally thousands and thousands of people, and you'll be amazed. Sometimes you get very big reactions from it, but even if you don't, it's such a throwaway item, you can simply move on to the next exercise, congratulating them for demonstrating their ability to concentrate.